Vanakkam. Welcome to this course on classics in neuroscience. We have been looking at classic Nobel Prize winning works, and in this series we will be looking at classic Nobel Prize winning works of Edgar Adrian. So in this video we will look at Edgar Adrian's early life and education, and how Adrian, in collaboration with Keith Lucas, showed and demonstrated the all or nothing principle in neurons, and his key experiments and findings, and how World War I impacted Edgar Adrian's career trajectory. So Edgar Adrian was born in 1889 from an affluent London family. They were very rich, so they were not really required to work. So education, studying was a fun activity for them to do. So he was initially drawn to the classics, but later he became interested in biology and life sciences by 1906. So he attended Trinity College, Cambridge, where he was famous for his brilliance and industrious approach to science. So he was a very hard-working student, and he was a brilliant student. So in 1911, he got a first-class degree in physiology that actually qualified him to pursue a PG degree or research work in physiology. In 1912, in collaboration with Keith Lucas, Adrian demonstrated that nerve impulses return to full strength after passing through a weak alcohol block. That is, when the alcohol block is removed. That means that at that time the nerve impulse strength comes back to full strength, suggesting that all or nothing law is not only applicable in muscles and muscle fibers, but also in nerve fibers and neurons. And by 1913, he was awarded a medal for his brilliant work, and he continued to promote the idea that there are these discrete all or nothing nerve conduction, that is impulses. Nerve impulses are either present or they are not present, and they have a discrete form. That means that the axonal events are triggered by smaller local changes at the synapse. So that means whatever happens in the synapse, it is possible for the axons to pick up, and it may or may not cause an action potential, but if there is an action potential, then it has a particular shape. So if it is there, it is there. If it is not there, then it is not there. That means that if it is there, it has a particular form. These are things that we know very well today, but in those days this was not clear. So it was Adrian's work that suggested that axonal events are essentially the result of local changes that happen at the synapse, and then perhaps now we know that it is also a result of spatial and temporal summation that happens perhaps in the neuronal cell body. That is something that we now know, but this was still the time when the neurons, or the idea of neuron doctrine, was still being accepted. Right? This was the 1910s. By this time neuron doctrine was quite popular and well established, but still was in its infancy, because the idea of synapse itself did not have experimental support until much later. As to how exactly communication happened between neurons was still not very clearly understood. But World War I disrupted Keith Lucas and Edgar Adrian's research. Adrian got his medical degree in 1915 and worked on nerve injuries. But unfortunately, what happened in 1916, Keith Lucas died in a mid-air collision while he was trying to make or test new instruments for the Royal Air Force. Sadly, this was a huge blow to the field of neurophysiology. So Keith Lucas's unfinished book, The Conduction of the Nerve Impulse, was completed by Edgar Adrian in 1917, essentially continuing their collaboration even after the death of Keith Lucas. So with this we come to the end of this video. In this video we looked at early life and education of Edgar Adrian, and how Edgar Adrian showed that the all or nothing principle is also prevalent, is also found in nerve impulses and in neurons, and not just in muscles and muscle fibers, and his findings from his experiments, and also looked at how World War I affected Keith Lucas and Edgar Adrian's collaborations, and how Keith Lucas's death was a huge blow to the field of neurophysiology and to the collaboration that he had with Edgar Adrian.